Thank you for coming down. We need you. Okay. This is a special day today. Do you know what this special day is today? Mother's Day. And are you excited about Mother's Day? All right. Now let me ask you this. Did you get a gift, any of you, for your mothers for Mother's Day? You did. What did you get? You got her shoes. Oh, that's really good. Did you buy the shoes too? No, just you. Okay. Did you get your mother anything from? Oh no. How about you?
After she cooked breakfast.
You cooked breakfast. Okay. All right. Now it's not too late to give your mother a present. What do you think a mother would like more than anything else? What would she think you would like from you for more than anything else? No coaching. You don't know. It's in our gospel text today, what I'm going to read pretty soon, but you wouldn't know that, you hadn't heard it yet. But it's the same thing that God likes from us. Can you think of what your mother would like more than anything else? Other than the shoes. Don't. You don't know either.
A nice hug.
You're getting close. Yeah. Okay, I bet you that you think that if more than anything else your mother would like you to be obedient. Did you would like when she asked you to do something that you do it? And that you follow her instructions and keep yourself safe? Because that's what God kind of expects from us. Because we are His children, and He would like us to do what He asks us to do. So more than anything else, remember, not only today, but every day, you can't give a bigger gift than listening to your mother. Now, I've got a task for you guys, and you can get your candy too, but we've got, this is one we need some help from the older ones. We've got flowers for everybody. I usually get orchids, but it didn't happen this year. But we have these flowers, and if you will take that side and take one of those children, and you will be the ones that will pass them out, and they will hold them for you. And if you will take this side, and you can take a bunch of. Okay, you pass them out to every woman in the congregation. Okay, I'm going to ask somebody to. Yeah, you're volunteering. Oh, we got 2 volunteers. I'm just going to have you hold that for them. Follow them.
Give one to the
Make sure you
organist.
give one to everybody.
Give one to the organist.
And you can tell them they can choose the color if they want. They aren't important, but they're pretty. Play a few bars over time. The Holy Gospel is written in the 14th chapter of St. John, beginning at the 15th verse. Jesus said to his disciples, "If you love me, you will keep my commandments. And I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to be with you forever. This is the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive because it neither sees him nor knows him. You know him because he abides with you, and he will be in you. I will not leave you orphaned. I am coming to you. In a little while the world will no longer see me, but you will see me. Because I live, you also will live. On that day you will know that I am in the Father, and you in me, and I in you. Those who have kept my commandments, and kept them, and keep them, are those who love me, and those who love me will be loved by my Father, and I will love them, and reveal myself to them." Here ends the gospel for the day. Please be seated. Martin Sheen is a fairly well-known actor. He is known for deep religious conviction and also as a social activist. Some of you who might have been fans of The West Wing will recognize him as he played one of his major roles on television as President Bart in that program, The West Wing. But in 1979, Martin Sheen was acting in a film called Apocalypse Now. It was being filmed in the Philippine Islands. And after a rather grueling day, in a lot of heat and humidity, with a lot of time spent out in what we would call inclement weather, Martin Sheen retired to his room that night, and then all of a sudden got what he understood was a heart attack. He was able to get to the door of his house and fall outside and call for help. And between the cast and the crew and the director and a stunt pilot, they were able to take Martin Sheen to a major hospital in the Philippines. It looked like he might not make it. His wife Janet was called down to be with him. She refused to recognize the gravity of the situation. But one of the things that she knew, she had to be a cheerleader for him because it looked like he was losing ground, primarily because he was so anxious about what was happening. And what Janet did was lean down next to Charlie in his fuzzy, muddled mind. And she said, "Remember, Martin, this is only a movie. This is only a movie. It'll be all right." Later, Martin Sheen told the motivational speaker, Tony Robbins, about this experience. And he says, "In my fuzzy mind, when I heard those words, somehow the anxiety left me. Because movies turn out good. You wake up and everything is all right again." This is kind of a weird story, but he stands by it. And one of the things that I thought, that maybe when things get really bad, maybe we kind of wish that we were in a movie. Something that we could wake up from and everything would be all right. One that was in a projector that we could control. When we were younger, well, we'd speed it up a little bit. Speed it up for Christmas, and then for the driver's license, and then for graduation, and leaving home and being on my own, and no longer being subject to the parents' rules right there. As we got older and things were going real well, we'd probably like to stop it. Like those apostles on the Mount of Transfiguration, where they had this wonderful experience, and they said, let's stay right here. Let's build monuments. Let's really celebrate, because this is a moment that we can't duplicate any other place. We don't want to make up from this movie. When things go bad, sometimes we like to turn back the clock. We'd like to redo things that we had done poorly or that we'd done wrong, to make up for things that were said that we'd like to take back. There's no rewind on our life trajectory. And sometimes I feel that when we get older, we'd like to slow it down. It's going too fast. It was just yesterday that it seemed that we turned the new year. I haven't even planned to take a vacation yet. It's halfway through the year. There are a lot of things going on in the next month that are really exciting, but it's going all together too fast. And I recognize more and more each day of how important it is. Well, you all know life isn't a movie. Life is life. And sometimes life hurts. And sometimes we just like to be in a movie. So where do we go for encouragement? And our gospel text tells us this morning, Jesus is talking to his disciples before he goes to the cross. And he tells them, because I live, you will live, and I will live in you, and you will live in me, and I will be with you. That's the heart of the Christian gospel. God is present, and he lives in you, and he gives you the power to overcome the things that batter you in this thing we call life. There's a wonderful gospel hymn that was written by Bill Gaither and his wife Gloria. It's called Because He Lives. And it goes like this: because he lives, I too shall live. Because he lives, all fear is gone. There's an interesting story behind that song. It was in the late 60s that Bill and Gloria were having a third child. They had one that was 4 years old. They had another one that was only 3 months. They really hadn't wanted one that quickly again, and Gloria might be having complications. Bill contacted mononucleosis. And then one of the closest members of his group declared that Bill and Gloria were only in this ministry because it was a money machine. One of their closest friends said that. And then came the God is dead time, and the emphasis on the drug culture. And Bill Gaither dropped into deep depression. It was only through another one of his friends, one of the group, that came and talked to him about keeping the faith and understanding that God lives in you. And if you really come in contact with that God that lives within you, you can overcome all these things that are bothering you right now. And then their child Benjamin was born, and was born healthy and very much alive. And Bill and Gloria Gaither wrote this hymn, Because He Lives, in gratitude for what God had given him. And they sing it very often, almost always in their concert. Because He lives, I too shall live. Because He lives, I have no fear. Christ reminds us that we are loved, and have a voice? Do we have value? Listen to the rest of this text. On that day you will know that I am in the Father, and you in me, and I in you. And they who kept my commandments, keep them, will love me, and those who love me will be loved by my Father, and I will love them and reveal myself to them. In this world, it is so easy to think that we are not important. So easy to think that we are just a cog in the wheel, nameless, faceless, unrecognized by the world. There's nothing more discouraging or destructive than feeling that nobody cares or nobody wants to love you. A while back, I guess it's almost 20 years ago now, Tom Kalinske, president of Leapfrog, which I guess is was an internet group, told of filming a documentary of an experiment of computers in education that took place in Southern California in a middle school there. The school, it was an underperforming school. It was an experiment, and it was a program of learning games to reinforce the fundamentals of math and reading. One of the things that they did, or the principal said, is he didn't want any of the special ed students. Because after all, special ed students are, sometimes they're not controllable. And that probably would have been the end of the story, but there was a special ed teacher that got very upset about this. And he said, what better thing if you test them on the special ed students? They also are students and people loved by God. So the special ed kids got into the program. Some of the kids learned more in a semester than they had in the previous 9 years of school. Story of one girl who never learned to read. She was intimidated by all her classmates, called dumb. Simply couldn't get the basics of phonetic concepts. Computer didn't intimidate her. In one semester she learned to read on the 7th grade level. But the real hero of that story was a boy named Reverend. He had every problem in the book. Dysfunctional family, a learning disability, extreme shyness, bad eyesight, teased by everybody in the class, bullied every day. Raymond was put in the program, and Raymond, becoming the hero of the whole program, in one semester he had caught up with 7 years of math. He was put on a newscast, and he was asked why it was that he was so successful under this program. And he used a word that we no longer are allowed to use in society today, but he used it, and I think it's effective. He said, well, all the rest of the kids called me a retard. But Raymond called me but the computer called me by name. He called me Raymond. And sometimes we need somebody to call our name and to give us recognition, to give us the feeling of self-sufficiency, of self-worth. Here's where we shift into Mother's Day. Today we stand in horror at one mother by the name of Lori Vallow, who was convicted yesterday of killing her 2 children, one 16 and one 7, and killing her ex-husband's wife. Now, the girlfriend of a wayward clergy who somehow got her off the path and told her kids were zombies, apocalyptic preacher who now is also sentenced for murder. And we say, how can a mother do that? Particularly those of us who have had loving mothers. And we've experienced the fact that in the first 5 years of our life, the person representing God most fully is the mother, who takes care of us, of everything that we do, of our physical needs, our social needs, our psychological needs, without asking for anything in return. And I would guess that you, if I interviewed each one of you would be able to tell me something about your mother. It has been a part of your life ever since. The last real advice that my mother gave to me was a quotation that she had also written in my diary some years before, probably 40 years before. And this is what she said as a guide to my life. She said, I expect to pass through this world but once. Any good, therefore, that I can do, or any kindness that I can show to my fellow creatures, let me do it now. Let me not be deferred or neglected, for I shall not pass this way again. And how much I would like to fulfill that philosophy that you gave me. So often I fall short. So often I wish that I could hold it closer and do exactly those words that you gave me, both when I was 12 and when I was 50. I don't know what your advice your mother gave you, but hold it close. Because today you learned in our gospel message that God is with you. God loves you. God will see you through all those things in life that make your life a mess. But also remember the mother that you gave and her advice, for that too will reinforce you. Give you self-worth, self-sufficiency, self-reliance. Amen. Sermon hymn, Little Brown Church in the Vale, 150 in your book. Please stand as you are.